Why isn't it in the fucking game without a pre-order?
You blind? Dude, fucking fanboyism.
Microtransactions and
DRM.
Downloadable content.
What's up, gamers? Welcome to Gamer Rant. We're going to be talking about Randy Pitchford, alright? Gearbox, yeah, you know. So, recently, apparently he went on Twitter and did a barrage of tweets. He criticized Valve and Steam, and a variety of other things. But I think we need to talk about this because this is someone who's basically in charge of a developing company, all right? And he's constantly getting on Twitter and he's defending the Epic Games Store, which is kind of ironic. You think the Epic Games Store would be the one defending their own platform. But we have a developer who ironically tweeted out something, and now he's getting a lot of attention. He doesn't like that attention, and he keeps telling gamers that he had no control over it. You can't, don't be telling me to try and fix it. I can't fix it, yada, 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 yada. And it's like, well, you know what? If you didn't run at the mouth, you wouldn't be in this problem in the first place. But I think this problem goes a lot deeper than that, all right? Than some CEO or whatever his position is at Gearbox running at the mouth on Twitter, all right? So I'm going to address this video directly to him, all right? And any other CEO, whatever the case may be, of other companies, all right? So the biggest selling point for the Epic Games Store is that games would be cheaper. I think we could agree to that one, right, Rand? All right, good. Well, why is it, factually, that Metro Exodus was $10 cheaper on the Epic Games Store than on the Steam platform? Or excuse me, not the Steam platform, the Steam software. But yet, those savings, number one, were only found in the US. So tell me again how that benefits the consumers. And you'll take note I said consumers. I didn't specify American consumers. How does that benefit consumers worldwide if the savings can only be given to US citizens? Not to mention another fact. There are games on the Epic Games Store that are on Steam. They're exactly the same price. So what happened to the Epic Games Store being better for developers and better for consumers because games would be cheaper? Is this some kind of like exclusive deal type thing as too? Only if the publisher agrees to let you sell, or not you, I'm referring to Epic Game Stores, allows them to sell the game cheaper? So tell me, how is this not anti-consumer? Because I think a gamer that lives in Australia or a gamer that lives in Japan is just as important as a consumer that lives in America. And if we have a piece of software that's new, a game digital distribution that's going to claim that games are going to be cheaper than Steam, and yet so far we've only had one game do that. Every other game is equal in price on their competitor Steam, and yet for the one game they did do that with, it was just as expensive or more expensive in other countries. You can't inherently sit here and say that your software is consumer friendly when apparently only if you live in America. And yet you're the one that continuously is defending this software. And it's almost as if you yourself can't even take criticism, which is kind of ironic, because the criticism, other than, Borderlands 3 being timed exclusive, which it's ultimately irrelevant whether it was 2K's idea or your idea or who was in charge of that, all right? Because you're part of the developing company, people are going to give you the criticism for it. And the irony from this is that instead of disagreeing All right, which, yes, free country, you have the right not to agree with gamers. You start defending the Epic Games Store, and you start defending the very decision, especially when gamers started to review bomb older Borderlands games. You even highly criticized Valve for allowing them to do that. You even stated that, you're happy that basically 2K was made with the timed exclusive deal. But here's another question for you, Mr. Rand. How is a timed exclusive game beneficial to the consumer? You have a Twitter account. You like to use it. Let's see if you'll answer that question. Because the reality of it is that it doesn't benefit the consumer. It's not beneficial in any way. What this is a new piece of software on the PC for digital distribution. That's what it is. And what they're trying to do is to get timed exclusive games so that people are forced to buy it on their platform. And that is not consumer friendly. Instead of actually doing their job, we're talking about Epic Games Store, and creating a true piece of software that could be competitive with Steam, not just publishers and developers beneficial, but actual consumer beneficial, they released basically an average launcher. And their way of forcing gamers to get games on their piece of software is to pay the publisher of a game to have a timed exclusive for their system. That, my friend, does not help the overall consumer or the competition. That's not competitive within of itself. That's not how this works. If you want to be competitive, you got to be better than your competitor, and not just for the developers that also use the Steam software or distribution. All right, you also have to be in that same regards to the consumers. But time and time again, Epic Games Store has proven that they're more anti-consumer because they're willing to pay companies to make their game timed exclusive because they didn't take the time to truly make a piece of software that would be an actual competition to Steam. And you're going to be the one that wants to go on Twitter and you're going to pull shit out of your ass and lay claim that this is beneficial for publishers and the gamers when their software itself is lackluster. And that's a fact. That's not even my opinion. And it's irrelevant of whether we're talking about because they don't have all of the features that Steam has. We're talking about looking at this from the logical business standpoint, which apparently whoever did this at Epic Games Stores did not do that in any way, shape, or form, because it is in no way, shape, or form what we could call a true competitor to Steam. Because if they were trying to do that, it would have been that way at launch. Metro Exodus wouldn't have been a timed exclusive game. If Epic Games Store wants exclusive games, they should do real exclusive games. This means getting a hold of Gearbox. Hey, you know what? We'd like you to develop a game exclusive to our distribution, our digital distribution. Gamers would be fine with that. Why? Because then when they found out about it, they would know day one that this game is only going to be available on the Epic Games Store. Day one. It's not some well-known franchise that's timed exclusive or anything like that. You can't sit here and defend a platform that lacks the very capacity at launch to be a true competitor. And I find it a little immature of you when gamers start voicing their thoughts and concerns about this whole controversy, is you basically say they're wrong, they're childish for review bombing, so on and such forth. But they're voicing their thoughts and concerns in a way that they know is going to catch people's attention. And I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell you right now, you as the CEO or whatever your actual leader position is at Gearbox, you should be able to take criticism a lot better. Because no matter if the criticism is negative, contains positivity, or is completely positive, regardless of how it's delivered, if it's someone screaming and yelling, using an F-bomb, if it's in a calm manner, whether it's a review bomb, whatever the case may be, you should be mature enough to take that criticism to heart. And not belittle people for how they choose to deliver that criticism. Because that is even more immature than the people review bombing a game. Anyway, that's all I have to say on this subject. A link to the Reddit post is in the description box below. And remember, gamers, if you're not voicing your thoughts and concerns on what people at publishing and developer companies say, you just might be a part of the motherfucking problem.